Top Peak Ski Report is presented by Mackenzie Top Peak 2023.
Another gorgeous day from Maribel, a near-perfect bluebird sky. Once again, I'm almost ready to book my own vacation to the French Alps because they've been so good to the Canadians. Of course, Jack Crawford being crowned the 2023 World Champion in Super G. Unfortunately, no Canadians competing in the women's downhill today, but what a race. Jasmine Fleury takes the crown. Let's quickly go to the podium. Jasmine Fleury, as I said, her first World Championship medal and win. She had only 2 World Cup podiums prior to this. Nina Ortlieb from Austria in that silver position, also her first World Championship medal. And Karine Zutter, your Beijing 2022 Olympic champion in downhill, and 2021 World Champion, rounds out the podium for bronze. The Swiss goes 1 and 3. To break it all down, Mr. Brian Stemmel. I'm getting used to talking to you at this time in the morning, buddy.
Yeah, it's all right. It's fun.
It is fun. First impressions of what we just saw.
I hate to be Nancy negative. And Kelly Vanderbeek told me this year you should be more positive, but it's like the Super G. The race was over at the beginning.
I know.
It's just too bad that we don't have much more drama built up on World Cup. And not to take anything away from Yasmina Fleury, but you know, she started number 2, and that's just the way things go sometimes. But if they reverse the order and make the best come down at the last, then it would be a little more exciting.
Immediately you started, you know, kind of the stream going, ooh, I like the sound of the snow, looks good. The conditions look beautiful.
Perfect.
So, I mean, could we have predicted this podium?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not a chance. And I know you run your little pool with everybody, and I tried to give you tips the other day and steer you away from Jack Crawford because I didn't think he had it. I want to know who you picked today. Would you pick any of those women?
I
Because
picked them
sure
all.
didn't. Yeah, no, a huge shocker for sure. And you could see the emotion in Fleury's face in the finish because she didn't believe it either. She felt like it was unreal, and I think that's how a lot of people thought. Nina Ortlieb as well, you know, been battling back from injury time and time again, fell in Cortina, just like Karine Zutter did, who's skiing with a concussion. So, yeah, there were 3 surprises for sure.
Yeah. So what did Fleury do so well then to set her apart?
She just really stuck her nose in there down at the bottom. She was so fast up top, but just skied smooth and relaxed at the top, and that's what you need to do in the flats. You need to breathe and kind of save your energy and let your skis and legs go and be all loosey-goosey. And then down at the bottom, when there's a little more fatigue and a little higher speed, you really have to lean forward and dive into the challenge with your body and keep great aerodynamics. And she made a great turn coming into that final pitch at the top of the Stad. It's so steep down there. It's like 600 meters of sheer ice and steepness, and she really proved everybody that she was braver than most down at the bottom.
I mean, we're joking about making predictions and whatnot, but one name that was on the tip of everyone's tongue, Sofia Goggia. What happened there?
Well, she just didn't ski well, and we always see her take chances and make mistakes. And yeah, I think because of the death of her former teammate, Ellen Fanchini, I really think that took the life out of a lot of them, took the emotion out of it. They had an emotional few days. They thought they'd been over it, but it's tough to regain your energy when something like that happens and one of your former teammates dies at such a young age. And it's been really tough for the whole Italian team. I talked to a lot of people over there who've really stated that, and the Italians just didn't have it today, and for good reason.
Yeah, no, I'm so sorry to hear that, and I can't even imagine competing at that level with of course, that news. It's lovely to see so many athletes wearing that black armband.
Yeah, don't they normally wear black armbands on their left? Everybody was wearing it on their right for some reason. I thought it was always on their left, but still a great tribute. We did the same thing for Dave Murray back in 1990 when he died racing in Lake Louise. We all wore armbands in his memory because just such a great person, and Fanchini was just like Dave, one of the nicest.
Yeah, sending so much love to the Italian team. I would love to pivot and talk about Marie-Michelle Gagnon. She just announced her retirement. Congratulations, Mitch. I mean, sometimes people kind of struggle to find the words. Congratulations, what an amazing, formidable career. 8 world championships. What's her legacy going to be on this team?
Oh, well, one of the lone women who stood on that downhill team for a long time all by herself. and people came in and out, but really it was Mitch carrying the way and winning medals, and not just competing, not just being there and showing up and being top Canadian. She was winning medals, and it creates a huge legacy for kids in Quebec, because Quebec athletes are sponsored and promoted very well by their province, more than most provinces. They have great funding, and when you have athletes like Mitch who have grown up so much, man. I watched her. We were at a Panasonic event years ago, and she was just a kid back then, but had so much poise and spoke English so well and was gregarious and thankful and honest. And then I watched her in front of us, covering skiing for years, just grow up and mature into this beautiful woman with strength and power and commitment. And now she's engaged and had nothing to prove at these World Championships. Has nothing to prove anymore, because she is a champion in her own right, and just really proud of how she's represented herself in the Canadian ski team and her province.
Absolutely, and such a leader on just the Canadian Olympic team for all athletes. It is kind of sad, though, that there was no Canadian women competing here. Does that speak to where the team's at in any capacity?
Oh, yeah, for sure, especially the downhill team. Yeah, they've had it tough. They don't have a women's downhill team. They don't have the sponsorship, the funding for it. We might not see a Canadian women's downhiller in a long time. And I look back in the list, I couldn't find a race in the World Championships that a Canadian woman hadn't been in the race. So it's kind of sad to see today, but yeah, they just don't have a deep talent pool because there's no funding, no development, and yeah, tough to see.
Tough to see. Let's hope
especially with the legacy for Canadians who've won so many World Championship medals. You know, Lucia Wheeler at the beginning, Anne Hegdeviet, Nancy Green, Jerry Sorensen, Laurie Graham. You go through it, Kate Pace-Lindsay, Karen Lee Gartner. Like, all of them have won medals, and now there's nothing, and nothing coming up either. People always say to me, "Who's coming up? You know, who can we look out for?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not sure there is anybody."
Well, let's hope that changes very soon. You know,
it doesn't need to be in downhill, though. It can be in slalom and GS, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Like, Val Grenier and all the slalom skiers are fantastic. I'd like to see them in slalom and GS anyway, because it's a little more safe. They don't get hurt. I have daughters, so I understand why you don't want your kid to be a downhiller. But the legacy in Canadian women's downhill is just a little shattered right now.
Men's downhill. I mean, that's the big ticket tomorrow. What are you excited to see in that race?
Oh, Jack Crawford.
Come on.
You better pick him in the pool.
Yeah. What are your predictions? I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, gosh. Could be anybody. But yeah, Jack has got a really good chance. You know, he proved it in Super G that he's comfortable on the hill, on the other side in Courchevel, not where the women were today. And it's going to be a great battle between Vincent Kriekmeyer and himself, and Kilday, and all the top guns there, Odermatt. So I'm hoping tomorrow to be a little more excitement rather than today's race.
I think it's going to be really exciting. That's my bet for you. Thank you so much for chatting. Again, right. I always love seeing your face. And
good to be here.
yeah, there's a big race, of course, tomorrow in the men's downhill. And we actually caught up with Canada's first men's downhill world champion, John Kuchera, who's now the men's speed coach.
At last, a Canadian is the king of the mountain at the World Championships in downhill. That Canadian is John Kuchera.
I mean, it was a huge moment in my life, and it's definitely the thing that I'm still remembered for. It's incredibly cool to be able to do something for the first time, and on such a unique mountain, and it meant a lot.
Calgary's John Kuchera made history in the French Alps in 2009 when he became the first Canadian man to win a World Championship title.
I had a really good feeling even when I was skiing it. You know, I remember there's a couple moments in that run that I still feel really, you know, making speed and things really linking together. It took a lot to perform on that hill. You needed a lot of commitment, a lot of trust, and a willingness to really risk.
Now the head coach of the Canadian men's speed team, Kuchera helped guide Jack Crawford to his Super G World title on Thursday. Kuchera believes it's just the beginning of what's to come for this talented group.
You know, I feel confident because I know what these guys are capable of. They've performed at the World Cup level, and I don't see any reason why they can't get the job done at these championships.
The men's downhill at these World Championships is scheduled for Sunday at 4:50 a.m. Eastern. Stream it and every other event in France live and for free at cbcsports.ca or on CBC Gem.
What a legacy. Don Kuchera, of course, helping Mr. Jack Crawford, your 2023 world champion in Super G. The downhill for the men gets set tomorrow. And let me just remind you, this is your chance to win $100,000 from Mackenzie Investments. Do not forget to enter the Top Peak Ski Contest. 100,000 big ones you can win for your community and ski club. Go to mackenzietoppeak.ca. Have fun with it. Go big, go social. We've seen a ton of videos. And again, $100,000. Have some fun. I want to be with those kids. Gosh, mackenzietoppeak.ca. Tomorrow, the men's downhill gets set. Tune in nice and early. There's still lots of championship skiing to come from Maribel, Courchevel, France. You can watch it on cbcsports.ca or watch CBC Sports Presents. Thank you so much. That has been our show for today. And tune in. Same time. We're streaming all the time. Come on, there's so much alpine skiing to come. World Championships does not get better than that. Have a fantastic day.
The Top Peak Ski Report is presented by Mackenzie Investments National Top Peak Contest. Go to cbcsports.ca/Top Peak for a chance to win $100,000 for your favorite ski club.